DA Jody Owens. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WIAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome into the Lindsey Beckham Show. We are live here in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. I cannot believe it is already Thursday. Spring break has just slipped away as quickly as it came. It's funny how the breaks always seem to do that. We've had a pretty, not that it hasn't been interesting, because when you have 5 kids, everything's always interesting, but just been able to relax and be lazy and go to the park. Well, when it hasn't been raining, that is. But it has been nice just to kind of slow down and reset, recharge, and we will be right back into the swing of things before you know it. Again, these breaks always go by way too fast. Our legislative session, it's going by pretty quickly as well. Ho, ho, ho. The pissing match that the House and the Senate seem to be in doesn't look like it is going to end anytime soon, unfortunately. We are live here today in Flora, Mississippi. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. If you would like to call in, be a part of the show today, 601-879-0002 is the number to the station. We also have a text line, 601-879-4648 is our text line number. If you have anything that you would like to say through a text message, if you don't want to be on the air, but I definitely welcome all comments, all calls, all text messages. I want to hear from you. I want to know what do you think about what we are seeing at our Capitol? What's happening there? This back and forth between the House and the Senate, and it just seems like nobody can get along. And I made a post last night that if anyone thinks that this is at all about a teacher pay raise anymore, then you're just sadly mistaken. Because I don't believe that's what this is about at all. I believe this is about which side of that building can get it done. Unfortunately, there hasn't been much at all that has come out of committees in the House or the Senate. It seems like they are in this contentious match here, and they are each killing the other side's legislation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, so yesterday in the last 5 minutes on the Senate floor, the education chairman, Dennis DeBar, put a strike all amendment through House Bill, I believe it was 1375. I'd have to go back and look and make sure. I believe it was 1375. Put a strike all on that House bill, which dealt with, or maybe it wasn't a strike all, maybe it was just an amendment that added language. Anyway, that bill originally dealt with property within school districts. The amendment, after last week when we saw the House on a Friday after the Senate had gone home, the House comes in and does a strike all on a Senate bill, replaces it with language that would give our teachers a pay raise, and also changed a few things in PERS. Now, what we saw yesterday was an amendment on a House bill that the Senate brought to the floor, which would add language giving teachers a pay raise of not $5,000, which the House proposed in their strike all to the Senate bill, but an amendment to this House bill that was over in the Senate yesterday. They added language that would give teachers a $6,000 pay raise. So we're going to up it $1,000, make it look and sound a whole lot better. But then there is always the small print, right? So instead of an outright $6,000 pay raise, what the Senate now has amended and is proposing that we do is give teachers across the board a $6,000 pay raise to be implemented over 3 years. Now, that makes a big difference. Basically, a $2,000 pay raise each year for 3 years. Again, when we had the biggest teacher pay raise bill our legislature has ever funded, which was 4 or 5 sessions ago, included in that legislation was an annual pay raise for teachers. So they're already getting an annual pay raise. And then on that 5th year, it's an even bigger bump in pay. So that's already happening. I'm a little concerned that the House and Senate both are wanting to do something to punch the other side. And I'm a little concerned that we cannot afford the amount of money that they're proposing we spend on these teacher pay raises. And again, I really honestly don't think this has anything at all to do with a teacher pay raise at this point. I know I have made my opinion very clear on this show multiple times that I am not supportive or in favor of an across the board pay raise for our teachers. I think there are certainly some teachers that deserve more than a $5,000 or $6,000 pay raise. We have some teachers who are incredible. We have some teachers across the state who have much more responsibility than others. We have some who are teaching in failing districts with major teacher shortages. Of course, I have a very special place in my heart for our special needs teachers, having a special needs child myself. I believe they deserve a bigger pay raise. Their jobs are more challenging. That's just a fact. That's just the truth. And while I'm not exactly sure how we could implement this, I do believe that teacher pay raises should be merit-based. While we have some pretty incredible teachers, just like with every other profession, there are some bad apples in the bunch. And I just don't think it's fair to give them all the same amount across the board. Here's what I can see happening. This is kind of what I hope happens, by the way. I can see the House killing this new teacher pay raise bill that was amended on the Senate floor in the last 5 minutes yesterday. And I can see the Senate killing the bill the House unanimously passed last Friday, causing teacher pay raises to be dead in the water once again. Y'all know what I say. Nothing's ever dead around here until it's dead, dead, dead. I even take it further. Nothing's ever dead until sine die when we dismiss on the last day of session. But my prediction, or what I hope happens, Senate kills the House bill, the House kills the Senate bill, just like before. Teacher pay raise is dead. And then here comes Tate. Tate's going to step in, call a special session, dealing with nothing but teacher pay raises and education freedom. I have no problem if you put the two together, if you tie the two together. I know the House has said they are not in favor of doing that. On the other hand, I see no problem with it. I agree completely with Governor Tate Reeves. If our teachers get a pay raise, then parents should get options. If you can't give the parents the options and the freedom to educate their child the way they see fit, the teachers don't get a pay raise. Makes perfect sense in my mind. And I know there are a lot of people who will disagree with me on that, and that's okay. That's the beauty of living in a free country, that we get to think differently and voice our different opinions. But in my perfect world, this would be the scenario that I see play out. Now, again, at the start of this legislative session, both sides of the legislature had a standalone teacher pay raise bill. Contrary to popular belief, there was never a teacher pay raise tied to school choice in any bill this session. Not one. Not one. We saw on day one the Senate very quickly pass out of the Education Committee and then off the floor a $2,000 across the board teacher pay raise. We saw the House drop a standalone bill and pass it out of committee in the floor, giving teachers across the board a $5,000 pay raise. The Senate killed the House bill, the House killed the Senate bill. Then we started to see these games being played, like Friday, when the House brought this strike all, put this language back in, sent it back over to the Senate. And then yesterday, the Senate takes a bill, amends it, adds this $6,000 pay raise, which optics are deceiving, because again, on day one of session, the Senate passed a $2,000 teacher pay raise. Basically, that's what this is as well. Now, why it looks bigger? Because it's $6,000, and that's what makes all the headlines. Again, it's $2,000 a year over the next 3 years. So again, it's a $2,000 teacher pay raise. So we're back to where we started. We are exactly back where we started. And I truly believe we're going to see this play out the same exact way. But what do I know? I'm just a terrorist. According to Biden's Department of Justice, moms that show up at school board meetings concerned about what their kids are learning are domestic terrorists. And according to some legislatures over in South Carolina, we're a terrorist organization. It's just outrageous. I think we have a call coming in. Hey there, you're on the air.
Hey, Jerry here.
Hey.
You're talking about those teacher pay raises, I hear.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just going to call and say, I heard other people on this station, and I've heard other people about me whining and making a big deal about how, if we give these parents the freedom to move their children around to whatever school best chooses, what suits their child, one school is going to be full, the other school is going to be empty, and people droned on and on and on about that. But I wanted to call and make a comment about some of the things I've heard from some of those folks, and just say this one thing.
Yeah.
In every other area of life in the United States, anyway, in my lifetime and in several other lifetimes, but my parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, the free enterprise system where people had to compete with one another, it inevitably always ends in two things: lower prices and better quality service.
Absolutely. Free market works. We've seen it.
Well, apparently it works for everything except for the public school system, we're being told.
Yeah.
But
it does work. I mean, we're seeing it work in other states.
Well, see, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but at the beginning of this session, when they were talking about passing that large bill, it was going to make this system change and make that available to private school people and homeschool people. They were talking about giving the teachers a pay raise, and now that they've gutted it so that the rest of us can't enjoy the benefits of the free enterprise system. Now they still want their pay raise. So, it's just the same old story with these people that we elect to public office. They kowtow to whatever government people want them to do. They represent government. They just don't represent us, the free enterprise people who pay our taxes and support the whole system. Seems like we don't have any representation.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. Like you said, in every other area, every other aspect, whether it be, I mean, even where public taxpayer dollars go, even Medicaid, Medicare, what we see is that you can still choose the doctor that you use. You can still choose which hospital you go to. If in the public parks, I can choose which public park I take my kids to play at. I can choose which public library we go to. Those are all tax dollars funded, public dollar funded, but we have choices. Everything except for education.
Well, I'm sorry, but they're just asking us to believe something. They're asking us to act like we're fools. We're not fools. If something works in 15 different areas of life, why should I believe it's not going to work in this area?
Exactly. I completely agree with you. 1,000,000%.
Anyway, I appreciate what you're doing there, and I'll support your station there.
Thank you very much.
I'll definitely support your show.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we have some hosts that disagree with me strongly on this issue. It's something that we don't even talk about anymore because it gets heated, but I feel the way I feel. And, like I said, it's a free country, and that's the benefit of living here, that everyone gets to have their own opinion.
Well, I will say this one last thing. There are some of us out here who are paying for 2 sets of families. I've had to pay for my family's education, and I had to pay for somebody else's family education. So there is an unfairness there.
I agree. Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it. Great call.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye. We got to take a break. Y'all stay with us. There's lots more to discuss here on the Lindsey Beckham Show. We will be right back. WIB 103.9.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Spring is in the air and temperatures are on the rise, requiring us to run the AC nonstop. Don't let those days sneak up on you. Call Pure Air Consultants today for your spring inspection on your AC system. Pure Air Consultants, your go-to Ring Pro partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time at all. Locally owned and operated, Ring and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue. Contact Pure Air Consultants today online at mypureconsultants.com. That's mypureconsultants.com.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our Sweet the Swamp Pizza. Back with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a Sweet the Swamp Pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Doctor, the AC doctor, what's your diagnosis? My whole house was hot as a fever. Now my house is frozen, cause my air conditioner's on. Doctor, my AC's broken. Doctor, the AC doctor, heal my house, bless my soul.
The AC Doctors is your one-stop provider for air conditioning and heating installation, service, and repair. Contact us for money-saving repairs and lower energy bills.
Doctor, the AC doctor, heal my house, bless my soul.
Google the AC Doctors and get some relief today. TheACDR.com.
Hi, folks. Kim Wade here. Mississippi Energy Services provides generators. That's right. You may not need it now, but when you need backup power, you need a backup power generator from Mississippi Energy Services. Never again have to worry about being without heat, air conditioning, or all your frozen items spoiling because your energy was lost. You got backup power now, and it's so reliable. You'll be pleased with Mississippi Energy Services. Online at msenergy.us.
Have you thought about the cost of long-term care? In Mississippi, a home health aide can cost over $57,000 a year, and a private nursing home room can exceed $109,000 annually. Hi, my name is Cresley Pierce at Pierce Professional Agency. Long-term care insurance may help protect your savings and give you more options and peace of mind as you age. Learn how planning ahead could save you money and stress. Find me, Cresley Pierce, online today at MadisonPlans.com. That's MadisonPlans.com.
We all love the farm-to-table food concept, right? Well, at Burnt Corn Farm, they bring you locally grown flowers straight from the farm to the vase. With a wide selection of flowers and excellent service, Burnt Corn Farm will make your next party or shower a southern delight. Sign up for a monthly bouquet subscription, and their farm fresh flowers will brighten your days all season long. You can also book your next family photo session in their wildflower field. That's Burnt Corn Farm on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back into the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. This is the Lindsey Beckham Show. I'm, of course, Lindsey Beckham. We are streaming live here in Flora, Mississippi. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and X. 601-879-0002 is the number if you'd like to call in. If you have any comments, questions, concerns. We also have a text line, 601-879-4648, if there's anything that you would like to text to the show today. I will be happy to read your text messages and comments on air. Great call that we ended the first segment with. I completely agree. The free market does work. We know this. You know, one thing that has been talked about consistently over this very polarizing education, freedom, school choice topic, two things actually that I hear all the time is nobody wants that here. We all called our legislators for, first of all, I think there are many parents who want this. I think there are a lot of people who are misinformed about it. But I hear all the time, nobody wants this. We stopped it. We called our legislators. We don't like it. We don't want it here. The same exact people consistently make the comments that there will be a mass exodus from public schools. This will be the beginning of the end of public schools. Public schools are doomed. Now, both cannot be true. Because if it is so incredibly unpopular and nobody wants it here, then nobody would take advantage of it, right? So how would it even be possible for there to be a mass exodus from public schools, which, by the way, couldn't happen anyway because of the way the legislation was written? A phased-in approach with only 12,500 in the first year, half of those being public to public transfer, the other half public to private transfer. Now, one question that was asked in the debate the other night of both myself and Nancy Loom of the Anti-Parents Campaign was, do you support public to public transfer? Well, you guys know I do. Nancy stumbled over her words a little bit. She didn't really know what to say. Because what would be the reason for not supporting it? Now, she finally came up with, no, it depends on how it's written, because we don't want public schools to be able to pick and choose. But again, that's just more lies from her, because the way the bill was written Public schools weren't going to pick and choose who they could take. They had to have a clear policy stating whether or not they would allow transfers. So much misinformation out there. Again, the free market does work. We do see prices go down. We do see competition improve outcomes, and that's what we are seeing across the country as well. So I know I talk about this a lot, and if you listen to the show often, you're probably really sick of hearing it, but there is so much opposition that constantly promotes the disinformation, the misinformation, the downright lies about what this means and what it will do. So I feel like I've got to stay loud about it and put the truth out there, because it's definitely not being talked about enough. We each got to ask each other a question towards the end of the debate Tuesday night. And so my question to Nancy was, how did you enjoy going to a private boarding school in Port Gibson, yet you deny children, or you want to deny children that option today? I couldn't believe the way she responded, to be quite honest. She said that, yes, she did go to a private school, and she doesn't believe that she got a good education there. She said that our public schools provide a much higher quality education across the board than our private schools do. She said that our private schools here in Mississippi are not preparing kids for college, that they don't compare to the standards in education our kids get over in the public school. There's no accountability there, is what she claims. I mean, my question is, we give education, the public education system here in Mississippi, we appropriate more money every single year, more and more and more money. And while we have made some gains, we still have 2/3 of our fourth graders who are not proficient in reading. We have 3/4 of our eighth graders who are not proficient in reading. And look at the scandals that have taken place in public schools across the state of Mississippi in the last few years. So who are they accountable to? And I believe she's wrong. I believe that there are many private schools here in the state of Mississippi where kids receive a better education than in many public schools. And if you want to look at how you can know for sure, then check out the ACT scores, which are consistently higher in students graduating from private schools than public. You know, I'm just about fed up with the downright lies. If you want to be against something, that's fine. Go ahead. But to lie, blatantly lie to people about what it will do and what it means is just wrong. That gets under my skin more than anything else. And there are so many reasons, and this is not talked about enough, but there are so many reasons other than just education that kids might need to move schools. Bullying is a real issue. Courses offered. Schools that have the best special education programs. One question that was asked of Nancy at the end of the debate was, which students would you take off of their education savings accounts that have special needs or dyslexia? Because here in Mississippi, we already have school choice, a form of it for special needs students. And since you don't believe that any public dollars, air quotes in the studio here, should go to private schools, which of those kids would you kick off of their education scholarship accounts? Again, she lied and said she wouldn't want to take any of that away from special needs children, yet that contradicts everything else that she has said because she doesn't believe tax-paying dollars should go anywhere other than public schools. The lies are infuriating. The misinformation is widespread and it's false. We're not stupid. I believe American people and Mississippians are a lot smarter than they give us credit for. Parents can read between the lines here. Sorry, Nancy, but your lies need to stop. We got to take a break. Y'all stay with us. Lots more to discuss. We'll be right back here. WYAB 1039, The Lindsey Beckham Show.
WYAB.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Spring is in the air and temperatures are on the rise, requiring us to run the AC nonstop. Don't let those days sneak up on you. Call Pure Air Consultants today for your spring inspection on your AC system. Pure Air Consultants, your go-to Ring Pro partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time at all. Locally owned and operated, Ring and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue. Contact Pure Air Consultants today online at mypureconsultants.com. That's mypureconsultants.com.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun flip or dive into a sweet the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
CBS News brief. An active shooter reported at Temple, Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan. Smoke is seen coming from the building. 2 people were wounded in a shooting at Virginia's Old Dominion University. Police say the gunman is dead. The student says,
"We heard screams, like faint screams at first, and then the screams got louder, and then I guess that's when everyone took it more serious, and we all just ran."
Iran's new leader spoke out today, vowing to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed and to continue attacks on several neighboring countries. CBS's Ramy Inocencio.
He's telling his own people that they should be united. He thanks the martyrs, and he says that there will be revenge.
CBS's Chris Van Cleve is keeping tabs on airport security lines as TSA agents deal with the effects of the partial government shutdown.
They should be getting paid right about now, but they don't know when that paycheck is going to come. And for some officers, that's just too much.
It's led some screeners to quit, others call in sick. CBS News Brief, I'm Steve Kathan.
Would you like to get the hell out of your life? If you do, we can help. Listen to life-changing stories of faith from ordinary people. Our guests share how they discovered hope, freedom, and God's amazing grace, and today are living a life of freedom with purpose. The show is called Get the Hell Out of Your Life with your host, Ron Myers. Heard every Saturday morning at 7 and 7:30 right here on 1039 WYAB. It can also be heard on your favorite podcast platform.
Are you looking for a church family to connect with? One that will provide opportunities to grow in your spiritual life, as well as a chance to serve others? First Baptist Flora may be just the place for you. We're located at 102 Jackson Street in Flora. To worship with us in person, we have a traditional worship service that begins Sunday mornings at 8:30. Then our life groups meet at 9:45, and the Refuge Contemporary service begins at 11 a.m. We also have a midweek service every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. So come join us at First Baptist Flora, where we're making much of Jesus.
As Christians, it's our calling to be faithful to Christ and obedient to the Great Commission. Our heart's desire and prayer to God is that through our efforts, many would receive and rest upon Christ alone as he is offered to them in the gospel. I'm David Strain, Senior Minister at First Presbyterian Church of Jackson, inviting you and your family to join us as we strive to fulfill that mission. We're located on North State Street in Jackson. Times of our services can be found at fpcjackson.org. You can also hear the good news about Jesus Christ each Sunday morning at 9:30 on 103.9 WYAB.
Men, if you answer yes to any of these questions, you could be suffering from low testosterone. Do you have low sex drive? ED, always tired, depressed, loss of muscle mass, obese, loss of focus and drive? You, my friends, need to get your numbers checked. Check out Men's Health of Mississippi, located in Madison, Mississippi, and online at menshealthms.com. Guys, get your numbers checked today. Trust me, she'll thank you for it. I promise. menshealthms.com. Men's Health of Mississippi.
Dr. Mike Stonington here from Stonington Farm Grass-Fed Beef. Here in South Mississippi on Stonington Farm, our steers are grass-fed and grass-finished. No grain, no hormones, no antibiotics, no mRNA vaccines. Our grass-fed and grass-finished beef is straight from our farm to your table. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and at StoningtonFarm.com. That's StoningtonFarm.com with 2 N's. And we deliver every 4 weeks to the Jackson area. We are the grass-fed difference.
We are back here live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. This is the Lindsey Beckham Show. We are streaming live as well. 601-879-0002 is the number if you would like to call in to the show today. I've got to take a moment today to honor my sweet friend over in Florida, January Littlejohn. She is a warrior. I don't know many women as strong as she is. I did a podcast with her. I haven't had her on the show. I'm going to have her on the show here soon. If you listen to Jameson Haygood's show, he had her on his show shortly after I met her. I connected them. She is a mom whose daughter was being socially transitioned in a Florida school without her knowledge. Now, she has sued the school district. This case is still ongoing for years now, all the way to the Supreme Court. She was the mama bear that said, "Not today, Satan. I don't think so. These are my children. You have no authority over them." After learning everything that she possibly could about gender ideology and the transitioning of minors, she started to speak out more and more. She works with an organization called Do No Harm. They have produced documentaries. She travels the country speaking about what she's learned. Again, so much information about things, so many lies out there. So the truth of the matter is, the facts of the matter are, you will be tricked as parents, and they will tell you, doctors will tell you, would you rather have a trans child or a dead child? Because your child's going to kill themselves if you don't go along with this nonsense. If you don't go along with giving a minor, a child, gender-affirming drugs that we do not know the lasting side effects of, without mutilating their bodies, cutting off body parts, it's just not true. Do you know when we actually see the anxiety, depression, and suicide rates spike? Is when these children wake up one day as an adult and realize what they've done. When they get through the puberty phase, hormones start to regulate back out, and they realize the permanentness of these decisions. There's no going back. When they realize they've cut their breast off, they've taken these drugs for years to suppress the estrogen. When they realize they'll never be able to bear children, when they realize they will never have a normal sexual relationship, when they realize they are who God created them to be all along, and no surgery or drugs can ever change that, that's when we see suicide. That's when we see real mental health issues. If you've never heard of Chloe Cole, I urge you to go follow her. My friend Scarlett, who hosts our Unleashed Moms for Liberty podcast, is doing an interview with her later on today. But Chloe Cole believed the lie. She believed that she was a male trapped in a female's body. She took the gender-affirming drugs. She now advocates against those drugs for children. She travels the country speaking out on how harmful it truly is. And my friend January, every single day this year, she has taken a picture and posted it to her social media, holding a sign about detransitioning. Today is Detransition Awareness Day because there are so many that quote unquote transitioned, either using drugs or surgery, who now completely regret it and detransition. I know how having a baby and entering this stage of life, perimenopause, I know how whacked out hormones can get. I can't even imagine if you've been playing around with somebody's hormones with drugs and medications since they were a child, and now they're trying to get back to their normal body chemistry. Imagine you feel like you're going insane. You've got to have hormone levels all over the place. That might be some lab work that even would shock Morgan. January has dedicated so much of her time and energy and effort into speaking out about the youth who were fooled by this lie. A lie I believe comes straight from the devil, straight from the enemy. Not enough people know how difficult it is to detransition and the havoc that wreaks on a body. I think it's demonic. I think it is pure evil, and I will be so thrilled when this is not something that we see happening to our children constantly all the time anymore. And I believe that day's coming because evil never wins. Evil never wins. And we were all beautifully and wonderfully made exactly the way our Creator meant for us to be. I dare anyone, much less a doctor who pledged to do no harm, to ever tell me some lie like, would you rather have a trans child or a dead child? Because I will set that person straight real quick. So happy D-Trans Awareness Day, everyone. And I applaud those who are brave enough to speak out and say, hey, I made a mistake. I believed the lies, but now I see. And thank you, January Littlejohn, for all that you do for that community of people who is attempting to get back to a normal way of life after so many years of these gender-affirming drugs. It cannot be an easy thing to do. We got to take our last break. Y'all stay with us. We will be right back to wrap up Thursday's show. And remember, real women aren't men. Stay with us. Aren't men. Stay with us.
.1039 WYAB.
The 19th Annual Township Jazz Festival is Saturday, April 11th in Ridgeland. 8 hours of live jazz, headlined by Grammy winner Nestor Torres. Also featuring the Tropic Owls from New Orleans, along with local favorites like the Vamps, Southern Comfort, the JSU Jazz Band, and much more. And admission still free. That's the Township Jazz Festival on Highland Colony Parkway in Ridgeland. Visit townshipjazzfestival.com.
What are people saying about Tom's Fried Pies in Richland?
I'm on a diet. I don't want to be down there at Tom's Fried Pies. We had a good time. When I tell you the crust was flaky, I'm talking about buttery. This was nothing like I've ever tasted. Ever. I mean, I've never tasted anything like that, man. It was nice. Atmosphere was nice. Everybody there was nice. Because I'll be back, even though I don't supposed to with my diet. I really enjoyed myself.
Tom'sFriedPies.com. Tom'sFriedPies.com.
This is DeMario Davis from the New Orleans Saints. As a Brandon, Mississippi native, I've seen the positive effects Mercy House Adult and Teen Challenge has across the state. Help us restore broken families and fight against addiction by donating an unneeded vehicle, even if it doesn't run. Mercy House will pick it up for you. All paperwork is handled and you receive a tax deduction. Call 601-572-7296 or visit vehicledonationsms.com.
Thank you for helping us get our daddies back.
Get ready, Louisiana. Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun flip or dive into a sweet the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Seeing well plays a big role in helping you read well. That's why it's not a minute too soon for students of all ages to schedule an eye exam with Dr. Bobby C. Pankey and Associates in Clinton and Richland. They can also help you with a great selection of frames, lenses, and contacts, all at affordable prices. See well, read well, do well. For all your back-to-school eye care needs, visit Optical 2000 Clinton and Richland. Optical-2000.com.
Stay in touch. Follow Optical 2000 on Facebook. I'm speaking with Lee Bounds of Rapid Rate Mortgage. Why is Rita Jensen the type of real estate professional you are looking for?
As a mortgage professional, I look for making transactions easier, and Rita Jensen with Rematch Connection is a prime example of that. Her attention to detail, her strong communication skills really help us as a mortgage company make everything smooth from start contract to close, she helps me.
RitaJensen.net. Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Venable Glass is your local glass expert, offering residential, automotive, and commercial glass. Venable Glass can do it all. Windshield repair, replacement of shower doors, mirrors, and everything in between. What sets Venable Glass apart from the rest? Unmatched reliability and customer service. Don't forget, tell your insurance company that you want to use Venable Glass. And remember, you do have a choice. Let Venable Glass work hard to earn your business. Call Venable's Ridgeland or Brandon locations today for a free estimate or visit.
Welcome back into the Lindsey Beckham Show, live here in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. We've got just a few minutes left on the show today, but as always, I will keep you updated on what is going on over at our state capitol as we look to the end of this legislative session. There's light at the end of the tunnel, I do believe. We're getting close, although I'm not sure that we are going to get anything worthwhile done this year, but you know that I will most definitely keep you informed. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I just wanted to say I'm just desperately going to pray for South Carolina State Representative Gilda Cobb Hunter. She, of course, is a Democrat. She represents House District 95 and 1 with 98% of the vote, who made the comment a few days ago that Moms for Liberty is a terrorist group. Let's be clear. There are actual terrorists throwing bombs in the streets of New York today. And yet we have elected officials in this country who label moms, who advocate and fight for their children and fight for a better education for them, advocate for protecting them, labeling us dangerous, putting a target on our backs. 6 months to the day, she makes this comment, 6 months to the day of when we saw our friend Charlie Kirk assassinated in front of the world in broad daylight. It is a scary world we are living in. And to label us hate group and terrorist, like the Southern Poverty Law Center likes to do, who, by the way, funds Nancy Loom and the Anti-Parents Campaign, or I guess like some representatives in South Carolina like to do, it's dangerous, it's wrong, and how dare you? How dare you? I'll be back tomorrow right here, same time, same place. See you then. Bye.